Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. It is Friday, June 26th, and I have my coffee ready. I took a shower, so I smell good, I suppose. And I'm ready to start the weekend. It is Friday. Isn't that wonderful? Well, it is wonderful. It is wonderful to me because, again, it rained last night. Things are a little fresh out in the world. Although the rain was funny, I was hoping for like some ginormous downpour. I remember waking up in the middle of the night because I heard the rain and I was like, oh yeah, it's raining. And then kind of like when you take a bucket and you pour the water out of the bucket, whoosh, the rain stopped altogether. And I thought, well, that was slightly disappointing, but at least it brought some fresh air through my bedroom window. That's my first thought of this morning. And I woke up this morning and it was, I could still get some nice fresh air coming in through the window. And I hope you guys slept well. I slept very well. And for those of you that are new to this and who have no idea who this guy is that is just rambling on and on and on, this is Coffee and Headlines. We get together every day, 10:30 in the morning, live on Facebook, and we exchange headlines, stories, ideas, suggestions, tips, concerns, everything and anything that has to do with our lives here in sunny Puerto Vallarta. And hopefully leave after half an hour or so feeling entertained and hopefully inspired and hopefully informed. If you are new to the broadcast, please feel free to let us know by writing the word new in your comment so that we can welcome you appropriately. And of course, there's, excuse me, all these wonderful comments from people that that I know and love. Good morning, everyone. Lisa was writing, I can't hear you. Before we even got started, I threw in a 2-minute counter because I wanted to get some things done and try some things behind the scenes, nothing you should be concerned about, but hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Sherry Cooper can't get in. I'm not entirely sure that I know what that is about, but let me know that you're in, Sherry, so that we can all continue moving forward. Kathleen doesn't see the video yet either. Was that just because if you guys saw the standby image, that's because I was setting up some things. I didn't mean to startle the routine by starting the show in a different way. La 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 la. Anyhow, a couple of you have been missing the lives. It's great to see you. It's great that you can hear me. I can hear you loud and clear. Margaret asks for an interesting question. Is anyone still waiting for their inspection for certification to reopen? This is more useful to one another than to me. So if anybody has any constructive feedback for Margaret, please share it either publicly or privately. And Sari comments on the fact that, yes, I started with a blank scene. I'll try to do something different next week. I'm just trying to move things around so that we can all continue to be entertained. We have a lot of news today. We have a lot of leisurely stuff, which is nice because it is Friday. But we also have some interesting and thought-provoking bits of news that I want to share with you. So why don't we just dive into the news? For starters, I found on Facebook, or somebody sent this to me, honestly, I don't remember, but the Washington Post published this wonderful article on Mexico's Central de Abasto, which is the largest market in Latin America, and how the coronavirus tore through it. Now, for those of you that don't know it, Central de Abasto is, think about the most ginormous fresh produce market you can think of, and that's the Central de Abasto. Central de Abasto is this enormous marketplace in Mexico City that supplies fresh foods and vegetables and other products to states, to cities, to everyone. and this article accounts on how coronavirus arrived at the Central de Abasto, and it really tore apart the fabric of the market because a lot of people didn't believe they could get it. A lot of people didn't believe it was happening, and it happened, and a lot of people died, and it's really unfortunate. But the reason why I bring this up is because I know that a lot of people in the English-speaking community have been concerned about Mexico's ability to believe what's going on, or rather, the population's reluctance to accept what's going on. Yes, this is true. In Mexico, we have a certain cultural thing about not believing in the government. And there are a couple of very interesting quotes on this article from people that sell produce that say, well, the government has never been here for us. Why would we believe the government now? Now, to say the government has never been here for us is quite a stretch, in my opinion. But again, the article is an interesting point of view that'll hopefully give you a better appreciation as to the mindset of your average Mexican citizen in terms of important messages that are coming from the government, whether they're easy to believe or not easy to believe, and so forth and so on. So I certainly hope you will enjoy reading through this article as much as I did. Our mayor, Dávalos, was again under hot water? Under heat? He was in trouble because in his regular session, he brought up again the whole situation of the Pitillal River tree tearing. And again, he defended it as something that is going to save many lives. And he continues to be under scrutiny for this. And even though he said something along the lines of, well, we're going to rebuild the trees and we've taken care of all the tension and so forth and so on, it is clear that something like this is not going to be rebuilt in less than 5 to 10 years. So this is something that continues to be in the minds and hearts of a lot of local people, and we are very, very happy to know that. Lo and behold, there are true news and there are fake news. Yesterday, we reported that school would not resume in Jalisco until January, and we find out that this was just something that was distributed on social media. I picked it up from one of the credible sources that I read every day, and I was doped, just like some other people were. So it's good to see that this is not true. It is expected that classes will begin tentatively in August 17, but this will not be confirmed just yet. If you have kids that are going to school, this is just for your own reference. This is sad news for our friends in Cuernavaca City. Cuernavaca being this wonderful, we call it the city of eternal spring because the weather is always beautiful. It is 1 hour away from Mexico City. But the municipality of Cuernavaca has declared bankruptcy. They run out of money, which is very sad. I don't know what happens to a city when a city declares bankruptcy and a city lacks the funding to take care of their most basic payments, but this has happened in Cuernavaca City. Let us hope that this never happens in Puerto Vallarta, but it is very unfortunate indeed. We also learn from Vallarta Opina that tourists keep coming to Puerto Vallarta despite the pandemic. Of course, we're not going to see the huge number of tourists we usually see during the summer months, but it is now common to find this kind of sight in the city, tour buses taking tourists from one place to another. It seems kind of unusual to see this or to think about it, But again, this is going on again. Hopefully, these tourists are going about their business in a careful, responsible way, and so is the case of the tour providers. Although there was a report from someone I know that they went to the beach yesterday, and one of the beach vendors, not vendors, but one of the beach places where you can sit down and enjoy service under a beach umbrella, they were not respecting safe distancing, and the best thing one can do when this happens is to report it to Reglamentos. If you need the phone number for Reglamentos, let me know. I'll look for it and I will share it with you. Puerto Vallarta received 17 flights in 24 hours, 8 of them coming from the United States, which shows us that little by little, people are starting to return to our city. And no planes were reported coming from Canada just yet. And let's see. I have misplaced a bit of news because I wanted to tell you about the fact that movie theaters are reopening this coming week. And I don't know what I did with that bit of news, but let me tell you about that. Movie theaters are coming up. Again, movie theaters are reopening, and in the spirit of what we started to do yesterday, I'm going to throw in a poll to see if you are going to be inclined to go to the movie theaters once they reopen. Let me see if I can find my headline, because maybe I just did. Here it is. I just didn't put it in the proper place. So, bam. Jalisco, that is our state, will reopen parks, theaters, movie theaters, and pools this coming Monday. That is this coming Monday, yes. And let me dive into this article because there's some specific things that are relevant here. It says public parks, but not public canchas. How do you say canchas? Okay, if you have a tennis, okay, not public courts. For example, you can, and when they say pools are opening in fitness clubs so that you can take swimming lessons, but not public pools. Public parks are open, but if there's like a tennis court or a softball court, you cannot use that in a public park. Theaters, movie theaters are opening. Movie theaters and theaters are opening with a 25% capacity. And that's what the bit of news says. Now, what does that mean in Puerto Vallarta? That means, again, that we can now go to the movie theaters. I suppose this means that places like Encanto and Act 2 Entertainment can reopen. But again, I wonder if this is going to be happening just like that, or if they're going to have to go through some kind of protocol. The article is not very specific, but I'm going to keep looking for more specific information just to find out what is going on here. I see your responses are starting to come in terms of whether you're planning to go to the movie theaters or to theaters in general. And we will take a look at the results at the end of the video, which is really funny because I love the fact that you enjoyed the poll feature yesterday. I personally love polling things and getting a sense as to what people are thinking about through polls. But I was never able to see the darn poll because I am the one that is doing the broadcast. So I feel a little bit of poll envy. So I'm glad that you're participating. I will volunteer that the huge, vast majority of you has no plans on going to the theaters anytime soon. But we'll wait on that. Let me take a quick look at your comments. Okay, some nice supportive comments about getting permits, stickers and so forth and so on. I'm glad to see that. Michael Sin, who was just in town, is coming back next month. Good for you. Um, More information about stickers. Excellent. Excellent, Margaret. I hope you can get what you're looking for. Please keep us posted. And Gail, thank you for the numbers for reglamentos. This is always helpful to keep handy. Softball courts. I'm so gay. I am not gay. What are you talking about? It takes one to know one. Good morning, Paul. It's good to see you. Okay. So let's move on to some leisurely stuff while we await to see what's going on with the theaters. Oh my God, you guys are really not wanting to go to the theaters, but I won't get ahead of myself. Leisurely stuff it is. For starters, let's take a look at the weather. Snarky Carrot Weather says Microsoft is closing its retail stores, which is sad news for the family of raccoons that had been living inside one mostly empty location for the past 5 years. That's funny, I guess, if you are a geek like myself. 79 degrees right now, feels like 85. By 4 o'clock in this afternoon, it'll be 88 and cloudy with some precipitation. Hopefully it'll continue to rain. It's going to be cloudy through the whole day for that matter. So hopefully it'll continue to be a rainy afternoon because we like the rains because they bring the temperature down and they make everything so much more comfortable to endure. Let me move on to some interesting leisurely news that I have for you, starting with the fact that acclaimed Mexican conductor Alondra de la Parra will debut as a conductor with the Frankfurt Orchestra today. We talked about the Frankfurt Orchestra yesterday as we showed one of their guest conductors conducting Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik. Now it is Alondra de la Parra's turn to conduct the orchestra. She's going to be conducting, I believe, Mozart's Clarinet Concerto and Aaron Copland's Appalachian Spring, the suite version, the version for chamber orchestra. If you're not familiar with that work, it is a beautiful orchestral work that was commissioned by Martha Graham, the famous choreographer. And this is going to be available live at noon today on the orchestra's Facebook page and the Secretary of Culture page here in Mexico. I will be sharing this link with you. And even if you don't catch it live, this should be a nice performance to watch later on through the weekend. I also wanted to let you know that Músicas del Mundo, a website that I read that features articles about world music, has announced that Lila Downs has produced a documentary about the food and music culture of the state of Oaxaca. Lila Downs is one of the most extraordinary traditional Mexican singers. If you don't know her music, she is absolutely a force to be reckoned with. She is extremely popular in Mexico, and she has managed to take the beauty of her music to many, many places around the world. And now this documentary is available for free on YouTube. And I took a quick look at it this morning, and it is most unfortunate that the documentary does not have English subtitles. But I'm still going to leave you with a link so that you can take a look at it. And as I am telling you this, look at what the cat dragged in. Look at that. All of a sudden, halfway through the broadcast, Luna decided to join in on the fun, and here she is. Anyhow, back to the business at hand. That was Lila Downs. As in past Fridays, we show you 8 things to do this weekend, courtesy of the New York Times. A lot of eclectic stuff is always announced every Friday by the New York Times in terms of things that you might be able to enjoy from home. And our friends at Vox also share with us the the best movies of 2020 so far. I don't know where I got the idea that it was 8. The best movies of 2020 so far. Again, this is a nice list. I'm going to scroll through it so that you can take a quick look at what there is. The Assistant, Baby Teeth, Baccarat. A couple of these I've seen, a couple of these I'm not familiar with. And of course, whenever they share these lists of movies, they let us know where you can find them, what specific network is carrying the films. So if you're looking for something interesting to stream this weekend, here is something for you to keep in mind. We also find out through Carnegie Hall that they are broadcasting in partnership with Medici TV. This weekend they're going to be broadcasting for free a piece by Philip Glass and his ensemble. This is going to include Philip Glass's Music with Changing Parts. Now, Philip Glass is a minimalist. Not everybody likes his music. I happen to adore the works. So if it's for you, absolutely love it and enjoy it. If you have not heard of Philip Glass's music, I invite you to, take a chance on the concert and let me know what you think. If you'd like to know more about Philip Glass, let me know, and I will gladly talk to you about his music. I think he's one of the most amazing composers. It's nice to see that our dear friend Noy is here, because my next headline has to do with her. Noy, who is now going deeper and deeper into the world of producing her own videos, sharing her love for her own cuisine, Thai cuisine, with us. She has now produced a second video, which premiered 4 hours ago, on how to make coconut soup. And it is beautiful because, I haven't watched the whole thing, but it is really beautiful because she starts the video showing how she harvests ingredients from her own garden. And I think that is just the most precious thing. If you had a chance to know Noy when she was here in Puerto Vallarta heading Daiquiri Dix's cuisine, I'm sure you will enjoy this. And if you haven't had the pleasure of meeting her, let us just hope that someday she'll come back to Puerto Vallarta, and you cannot think of a nicer ambassador for international food and a more wonderful, warm human being than Noy, unless you happen to find her inside of her kitchen dictating orders to her cooks. Well, never dictating, but she's always very, very forceful in the kitchen. She rules her kitchen with a lot of passion. So let's see, comments or results from the poll. Let's take a look at the results from the poll just because we can. And the results from the poll say that 90% of you are not going to the movie theaters yet. 10% of you are happy to go to the movie theater at this point. This is good to know. I myself, I would like to go to the movie theater only because I love the air conditioning. But I don't know that I feel at a place in which I feel comfortable to be in an enclosed place that long yet. And that's just me. I don't want to impress my mindset on the movie theaters on anyone. I just know that I don't think I'm ready. It would have to be a truly spectacular movie, and no, I'm not ready to go to the movie theater. But I certainly hope that the movie theaters will succeed. If some of the live performing arts theaters in town are starting to move in that direction, I certainly hope that they will do so carefully and successfully. Difficult to tell. Let me take a quick look at your comments before we wrap this up. Yeah, Sherry pretty much nailed it down. This is the way I feel. Great for the businesses that can reopen, but scary to be confined. I mean, if I need to go out and buy something, I don't mind going into a store, getting what I need, and leaving the store. But 2 hours in the theater might be a little bit too much for me. Um, El son del chile frito. Well, yeah, this is something that we should all watch. We should all watch. Paul, thank you very much for your comments. I love Luna Camp too. And I appreciate that you appreciate it. Sometimes I feel it's kind of goofy that I show you what my kitty cat is doing, but I appreciate the fact that you let me do that. Um, a big shout out to my friend Memo Lira, who is a local tour guide or has been a local tour guide, walking people around the city and showing them wonderful things. I assume things are not going very, very briskly for you right now, Memo, but if you are in business or if there's something we can help promote about your activities, by all means, please let us know because that's what we're trying to do here. Rita Myers, the more I read your comments, the more I think we should get a bottle of wine together someday because we seem to have a lot of things in common. I really appreciate your remarks. Um, Thank you very much for this, Michelle. Yes, I love music. Music is my first career. I started music at the National Conservatory of Music in Mexico City and then went to Boston where I received my music schooling. And, uh, and yes, music continues to be an incredibly important source of energy and inspiration for me. I miss being able to talk about music in person with people that joined me in my music appreciation lectures. And as I've said before, it is kind of complicated to talk about music through these types of broadcasts because the copyright gods are always on the watch for whatever music that you reproduce that you shouldn't be reproducing. And I understand that. Everybody needs to make a living. And when we reproduce music and take away the rights of the composers to receive royalties for that music, it's not very nice. Mihal and I are on the same page on this. Um, let's see. We all seem to be pretty much on the same place as far as being indoors. Um, are locals worried about U.S. visitors coming down, or are they pleased to see us back? Um, well, that's an interesting question, Simon, because on the one hand, no one can speak for locals in general. I think, and this is just my uneducated guess, people are happy to see the economy reactivating. Everybody is a little bit concerned about, the disease, of course. And I think one of the interesting things that is showcased in that article from the Washington Post that I mentioned earlier is the fact that, unfortunately, for a lot of Mexican families, it took an up close and personal encounter with COVID-19 for them to realize, oh shit, this is real. And and although it's unfortunate that it has taken that for so many people, now that an increasing number of people have lived the disease up close and personally, then it's more likely that people will be more careful moving forward. So to answer your question, are locals welcoming visitors? I think so. I think so. I think we are all welcoming a renewed amount of activity, while at the same time we are concerned about the fact that more people out and about produces more cases of coronavirus. It is a very difficult question to address completely and fully and satisfactorily. Satisfactorily? Is that even a word? Oh my goodness. It is Friday, so if I make a boo-boo with my words, please let me know. Everybody needs to do what they are comfortable with. Amen to that. Amen to that. And Karen, I'm glad to know that music has gotten you through the past few months. I love music, and I'm always happy to talk about music. In fact, sometimes I worry that I talk about music and I don't talk about golf. But hey, I don't play golf. What can I tell you? With all of this in mind, I am going to wrap it up because it's been half an hour, and as always, I'm glad that I had the chance to share some interesting things with you. I certainly hope you found something useful in this broadcast. As always, if you find something useful in the broadcast, please consider buying us a coffee. If you are regular and you have been enjoying the broadcast for some time, keep in mind that if you become a member, you allow us to be able to continue creating all this wonderful content and researching ideas and thoughts and places to go and so forth and so on. I am always grateful for the opportunity. I hope you all have a truly, truly wonderful Friday. I hope it continues to be a little bit on the fresh side. And if it gets too warm for you, just point the fans in your general direction. Or head over to Hotel Mercurio and get one of those ginormous fans that they're selling. They're very, very wonderful to carry everywhere you go. With that said, I hope you all stay healthy. I hope you all stay safe. I hope you'll all stay happy and inspired. And I hope you'll all stay in touch. And I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.